The Twin Anime Gamer presents Invincible Season 4 Episodes 4 and 5 synopsis with your girl AI, Amira I-zell. Pronounced proper, Amira I-zell. That's AI as the acronym, and the name is said clean, Amira I-zell. Let's get into it. Episode 4 starts off with Mark being completely messed up in the head, and honestly, who can blame him? My guy goes straight to Art's tailor shop looking like he got the weight of 10 planets on his shoulders. He confesses that he did something terrible, and not on no casual, I made a mistake type timing either. He tells Art he killed somebody because they were possessed and the infection would have spread, then admits the part that really scares him. He almost did it again without even thinking. He was ready to smoke another man too, and the only reason he didn't go through with it was Oliver snapping him out of that dark mindset. That's when Mark basically hits the, maybe I'm not the hero I thought I was wall. He hands over the suit and says he doesn't deserve to wear it anymore. That moment hit because it wasn't just guilt. It was fear. Fear that he might be turning into Omni-Man one violent decision at a time. Art, being Art, doesn't let him drown in that self-hate. He tells Mark the very fact he feels sick about what he did proves he's not like his father. That right there is the difference. A monster doesn't usually stop to question whether it's becoming a monster. Art even reveals he made Mark a new suit in his original colors, which low-key feels symbolic, like he's trying to bring him back to himself. But Mark is not in a place to hear all that yet. He rejects it, says nothing's changing, and walks away still carrying that guilt like a backpack full of bricks. Then Eve calls him for a job, and Mark reluctantly agrees, almost like he's trying to keep moving so he doesn't have to sit with his own thoughts. Then the episode flips over into full demon lore mode, and the Underrealm said, "Y'all thought we was just here for vibes?" Domina comes out talking real bold, declaring the vial will never be freed and that their reign is done. She rallies her people, like this is the last stand, forged in flame and all that, while Damien Darkblood is standing there basically saying, maybe we should think this through first? But Domina calls him a coward and charges straight into battle, and from there it turns into pure chaos. Volcanica is out here moving like an endgame boss with unlimited health regeneration. Damien lands a hit, but she shrugs it off, grabs him by the throat, and shoves her hand into his chest, like she's trying to remind everybody this is not a safe workplace. Domina steps in, Damien recovers enough to keep fighting, but it still isn't enough. Volcanica kills Domina, crowns herself the new great beast, and sends a message for Satan, like she's inviting him to war with premium disrespect. Damien retreats with the bodies of his allies and realizes running the same playback is not going to work. So he tries a conjuring spell that was supposed to bring Omni-Man, but instead he accidentally summons Mark. That was hilarious and tragic at the same time, because Mark had literally just been helping Riley deal with Kahor, and now all of a sudden he's in hell like, nah, what fresh nonsense is this? And that's one of the episode's funniest, but also weirdest pivots. The Kahor possession situation is basically left hanging in the air, while Mark gets dragged into demon politics and ancient underworld history. From there, Damien introduces Mark to Satan, and Mark's immediate assumption is that he's about to have to scrap with the devil himself. But instead of a fight, Damien starts breaking down the whole Underrealm conflict. We find out Satan and Volcanica are in a power struggle, that humanity's existence is tied to Satan's actions, and that the world they live in is actually the 6th age. The Vial are leftovers from the 4th age, and they used to rule both the surface and the depths in a non-stop era of violence. Worst part, they can't be killed. They had to be imprisoned through sacrifice. So now Volcanica trying to free them isn't just an Underrealm problem, it's an everybody problem. That's the kind of lore dump that could have been dry, but because Mark is sitting there reacting like a regular dude hearing all this madness, it still works. Mark doesn't want any part of it at first, and it makes sense. He's already spiraling over what he did on Earth, so the last thing he wants is another reason to put hands on somebody. But Satan asks him to retrieve his molten crown from the pit because no demon can survive what's down there. That's why Damien originally wanted Omni-Man. Mark points out that Omni-Man might already be dead thanks to the Viltrumites, and also questions why anybody thought Nolan would help in the first place. Damien's answer is interesting because he suggests even a selfish man might help if it serves his interests. That line kind of lingers, because it tells you Damien understands exactly what kind of man Nolan is. So picking right back up, this is where things start connecting on a deeper level. Not just fights, but power, legacy, and consequences. After Mark and Damien Darkblood survive that pit run, we get one of the most important moments in the Underrealm storyline, the return of the crown to Satan. Now this ain't just some shiny accessory. That crown represents authority, balance, and control over hell itself. And let's be clear, this ain't just some symbolic moment. This is power being restored in real time. The second that crown goes back on his head, the entire energy shifts. You can feel the authority come back, the balance trying to reset, like hell itself remembers who's in charge. Before this, things were chaotic. Volcanica running wild, demons getting packed up left and right. But now, the king is back in position. And right after that, we get that final battle in hell. Volcanica pulls up again, unleashing the vial like she's trying to end everything in one move. These aren't regular enemies. These are unkillable, ancient forces. And once they start rising, it's basically game over if nobody steps in. Mark is still dealing with everything he just went through mentally, still trying to convince himself he doesn't want to hurt anyone, but at this point, he don't even have a choice. He starts clearing a path, not because he wants to fight, but because if he doesn't, everybody's finished. Satan steps into the battle fully powered now, and you can see the difference immediately. This is what he was missing. With the crown, he's not just strong, he's in control. Meanwhile, Damien Darkblood is still in the mix, trying to hold things together even after getting completely violated earlier. Mark and Volcanica clash again, and this time, Mark doesn't hesitate. He goes straight for the kill and decapitates her clean. But it still doesn't end it. She regenerates, because of course she does, and realizes dragging this fight out isn't in her favor. So instead of losing, she retreats, sinking back into the rock with her forces pulling back. That's the key part. They didn't win. They contained it. The vial are still there, still rising, and Satan orders his demons to hold the line and maintain balance. It's a temporary stop, not a solution. Now back on Earth, this is the true end of episode 4. Debbie gathers Mark and Oliver and drops a major life change. She's selling the house and moving in with Paul, and you can feel how real that moment is. Life is still moving forward, even with all this chaos going on. Oliver, being Oliver, keeps it blunt and hilarious, basically calling Paul boring but nice, which is honestly accurate, but Mark? He's trying to process everything at once. Hell, guilt, family changes, all of it hitting him at the same time. He doesn't fight her on it, though. He supports her, even if it's clearly a lot for him. Then we get that rooftop moment. And yeah, this is one of those scenes where everything slows down, but it hits harder than any fight. Mark steps away from everything, the house, the noise, the pressure, and just sits there trying to process life. Then Eve pulls up, and you can already feel it. This ain't about superhero talk. This is real life weight. Mark finally opens up just a little and says it straight. Hell is real, and he's not okay. No jokes, no hiding behind being invincible, just honesty. And that right there shows growth, because before, he would have bottled that up. Eve's right there with him too, and you can tell she's been holding something heavy. She's this close to telling him about the pregnancy, like the words are right there. But just as the moment is about to land, boom. Omni-Man and Alan the alien drop in out of nowhere like they got no respect for timing. And they don't come with small talk either. They hit Mark with it straight, war is coming, no easing into it, no how you been, just pressure. And that right there is the real ending of episode 4. Not peace, not closure, just escalation. Now we roll straight into episode 5, season 4, and from the jump, the energy is different. Nolan is back on Earth, but it don't feel like a return. It feels like tension walking into every room. He's trying to move like he's changed, like he's here to help, like he's part of the solution now. But the reality? Nobody forgot what he did, and the show makes sure you don't forget either. He goes to Debbie thinking maybe he can talk things out, maybe explain himself, but Debbie shuts that down quick. She's not yelling just to yell, she's speaking facts. She reminds him exactly who he is and what he did. The destruction, the betrayal, the lives lost, all of it. At the same time, Eve is still carrying that pregnancy secret, and it's starting to weigh on her heavy. Every moment she's around Mark, you can see it. She wants to say something, but there's always something bigger happening. And now, with war on the horizon, it feels like the longer she waits, the worse it's going to hit when it finally comes out. Meanwhile, Nolan is trying to find his place in all of this, but nothing about his return feels comfortable. He's moving like he wants to help, like he's trying to be better, but everywhere he goes, there's this invisible wall. People hear him, but they don't trust him, and that's something he's not used to. He's used to control, to being respected, to being feared. Now, he's just another problem people don't know how to deal with. And the show makes it clear. Redemption isn't something you just decide for yourself. It's something you have to live with whether people accept it or not. Now, zooming out, the bigger picture starts getting real serious. This isn't just about Mark's personal struggle anymore. You've got Viltrumites still active, still planning, still waiting to strike again. And with someone like Conquest already showing back up, it's clear they're not playing defense. They're coming aggressive. Then you've got the Underrealm still unstable. Volcanica is still out there after retreating, which means she's regrouping, not gone. And with Satan talking about stepping into the surface world, that's a whole second war waiting to collide with the first one. So now Earth is basically sitting in the middle of two incoming storms. Back on the personal side, Debbie is trying to create some kind of stability in the middle of all this chaos. Selling the house, moving in with Paul, that's her way of taking control of something in her life when everything else feels out of control. And Mark sees that. Even if it hurts, even if it feels like another piece of his old life disappearing, he understands why she's doing it. Oliver is still navigating all of this too, trying to understand what kind of world he's growing up in. He might joke and keep things light, but you can tell he's absorbing everything, learning fast, watching how people move, especially Mark and Nolan. And then everything starts leading into that inevitable collision. The calm moments don't last long. They never do in this show. Once the Viltrumite threat fully steps back in, everything goes from tense to straight chaos. The attack hits, and now it's survival mode again. No time to think, no time to process feelings, just react. And when Conquest enters the picture again, it's like the episode flips into something darker. Because Conquest isn't just strong, he enjoys this. He's smiling, talking, treating the fight like it's entertainment. And that's what makes him terrifying. He's not just trying to win, he's trying to break Mark mentally while he's doing it. And that's where everything Mark has been dealing with comes crashing together. The guilt, the fear of becoming his father, the pressure to protect everyone. It all hits at once. And that's when Mark stops holding back. He snaps. He gets in close, locks onto Conquest, and decides this ends now. No distance, no strategy, just pure force. He starts choking him out, knowing exactly what that means. He's about to take every hit with no way out. And that fight, it's brutal. Not clean. Not heroic. Just raw survival. Conquest is still hitting him, still tearing into him, still smiling while doing it. It gets ugly in a way that makes you uncomfortable watching it. But Mark doesn't let go. He keeps squeezing through all the damage until Conquest finally goes still. That's how Mark wins. And when it's over, it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like a cost, because you can see it on him. This wasn't just another fight. This was him crossing another line, getting closer to something he's been trying not to become. And that's the real takeaway from this point in the story. Everything is escalating. The threats are getting bigger, the fights are getting uglier, and the line between hero and monster, it's getting thinner. Tag, the twin anime gamer hosted by your girl AI, Amira I-zell. Credits, music by Pressure, managed by El God.
Thank you for watching Tag, the twin anime gamer channel. We got more video game videos, more anime videos, and activity challenges to come. Please subscribe and add a like to the video.